Hello and welcome to the sixth edition of the Factly Digest. I'm Parvati Mohan. I head the audiovisual production efforts here at Factly, and the Factly Digest is a fortnightly live that we do here from our in house studio at the Factly office, where we take you through the fortnightly highlight what kind of interesting work has been going on here from across the many teams that work here at Factly. Every fortnight we speak to representatives from two teams, and that is what we're going to do this time as well. um, Before we get into the fortnightly highlights, very quickly a note on our memberships program, which is live now, has been live for some time, and we are very excited. Members are joining. The community is building. We call it Team Factly because that's precisely what we want out of this program. We want all of you to be part of this journey of making public data meaningful, which is everything that all the kinds of work we do ties back to that very motto. So do check the memberships out. You can click the join button that is next to the channel name. Uh, do consider joining. It's a show of support for the kind of work that we do. And also, a quick note, you can keep asking your questions in the live chat to the side of your screen, and we will take these questions towards the end of the live. So stick around for that. Um, we look forward to the questions you will ask, and we will answer them, of course, to the best of our abilities. That said, we will get into the fortnightly highlight, which begins with the fact check team. And I have my colleague Harshavardhan from the fact check team joining us here. Hi, Harsha.
Hi, Parv.
Welcome back to the Factly Digest. Now, the last time that the fact check team was here on this live, we spoke about how any kind of disaster leads to a lot of misinformation, online especially. Now, this seems to have happened over the past few weeks too, right, with various incidents. So take our viewers through what kind of misinformation has been in that space.
Yes, Parvati. Last time we talked about how we dealt with the misinformation surrounding the
Mm.
Odisha train accident.
Yeah.
The same trend continued this week, this fortnight also. But this time it's related to ongoing Manipur violence.
Mm.
Manipur, just like how the Manipur was before the ruling of BJP and after the BJP
Mm.
government formed. And similarly, several videos of women chasing down police officers and trans person clashes with the police officer were also being shared as the incidents in Manipur. But these are old and unrelated to the ongoing Manipur incidents. So, and another trend of misinformation this fortnight is, the cyclone Biparjoy.
Mm.
Several old, unrelated, and edited visuals are also shared as the visuals of floods, storms, and
Mm.
uh, incidents related to the cyclone Biparjoy. People, whenever there is some cyclones or this monsoon
Mm.
seasons, similar old and unrelated visuals are being shared as the recent visuals.
Right.
Actually, people share these visuals in order to help their friends and relatives and to inform them what's going on in the state. But sometimes it causes panic among
Yeah.
the public, and so it's always better to check what we got through social media before forwarding it to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's as far as there's some sort of an intimacy concern there, that okay, this has happened nearby. This is all still happening in our country. But also in the international space, there have been a few events of importance over the past 2 weeks, like Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US, or the Titan submersive implosion, which caused which was in the news a lot and still is, and also the protests in France following the murder of a teenager. So when such international events break out, what are the kind of posts that go viral when such things happen?
Yeah. Recently, we know that Indian Prime Minister Modi had a 3-day visit to the US. So, in this context, several old videos showing how people are protesting against Modi
Mm.
were shared as the recent visuals, and some unrelated visuals. Some are supporting Modi, some are opposing him, were also shared as the recent visuals. So, but we effectively debunked them.
Mm.
And similarly, we know this unfortunate accident of Titan submersible that imploded deep
Mm.
under the sea. So, in this context, people are sharing this uh, videos like last moments of the people
Yeah.
that got stuck in the
Yeah.
submersible. But actually, all these videos are old and not
Yeah.
related to particular incident. And some people shared the visuals of debris field
Mm.
inside the
Yeah.
ocean, but actually it's an AI generated image.
Mm.
And actually, but it's like it's real, so it's
Mm.
kind of hot for people. So they shared instantaneously. But this type of sharing this type of information related to these type of incidents will not have much impact on the society. But some communal incidents, like recently we know the protests, ongoing protests
Yes.
over the killing of a teenager by a
Mm.
police officer.
Mm.
People are sharing several unrelated videos,
Yeah.
like videos from other countries as well,
Yeah.
are linked to this France protest. So this protest is this is kind of a communal event.
Yes.
So people are sharing these old videos targeting one particular community,
Mm.
are being shared in this context. So
Mm.
it's always important to check before the sharing this kind of videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very valid point. And I know we keep talking about this often, but on the off chance that we have viewers who are joining us here for the very first time, I think if you could, as a fact checker, share your advice with people who, because we're all we're drowning in information. There's so much information coming at us through WhatsApp, social media, so many sources. So how do we sift through this? And when we come across something we're not sure of whether it's real or fake, uh, how do we check whether it's, whether there's any truth behind that claim?
Yeah, first of all, we need to understand these types of misinformations
Mm.
and the intention of the person sharing that. Some people share it for their political gains, like
Mm.
political
Mm.
propaganda,
Mm.
including some. They also share religious information to polarize the people, and some share it to gain attention in these friend circles or their family, and some share as to gain followers. Mostly, you can see
Yeah.
in Instagram to gain followers to their pages,
Mm.
and some share it out of ignorance,
Yeah.
because they need to share something good, because it will be
Yeah.
helpful for people, but actually it's not helpful, but
Mm.
it's kind of
Mm.
harmful. So we need to understand this intention before the sharing. And after that, first thing we need to do is a basic keyword search in the on the websites like Google or search engines. And if it's a image, we can do a reverse image search
Yeah.
of most of the uh, WhatsApp forwards or posts. We can get the true source of this based on the by doing keyword searches and reverse
Mm.
image searches. And then we can look for the credible news reports, like if the media reported it or not. But we can't clearly we can't trust the media in all cases. Like
Mm.
yesterday we did some fact check for the post, like there is a GST,
Yes.
Indian
The
government
video
decreased.
came out today as
Yeah,
well.
Indian government decreased GST from 31% to
Mm.
18%
Yeah.
on home appliances. All Most of the mainstream media reported it, but actually it's some misleading. Actually, the Indian government just comparing the pre and post GST
Yeah.
rates, but mainstream media they misled the people, and we fact checked it. So this shows that we can't blindly trust the mainstream media also. So for in these cases, we can go for the official sources.
Mm.
Like for GST claims, we can go for GST portal,
Right.
CBIC portal,
Yeah.
and can check for ourselves.
Mm.
So even then, you can't find the true source of information. We can WhatsApp to our tip line also.
Yeah. The WhatsApp tip line, the number is on your screen. And so you just add us as a contact on your phone and drop a hi. And from there, the bot, it's a very automatic, smooth process where you can get your these claims checked. And if there is an existing fact check in the bank, which in many cases there will be, it will direct you to that fact check, and then you can take a look in detail about the claim and what what the fact check says, what the investigation was. That said, we've come to the end of the update from the fact check team. Thank you so much, Harsha, for joining us and for sharing all those wonderful tips. In the meantime, if I can just ask our viewers to check us out on social media, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. square posts, reels, shorts, all of that. And it's a great way for you to learn something new every day while you may not have the time to go through in-depth articles and long format videos. So definitely look out for us on on various social media platforms. Again, we are at Factly India across platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Okay, and that with that said, we now move to the next team, the second team that we're going to get our fortnightly highlight from, which is the newsroom. And joining me is Pavitra from the newsroom. Hi, Pavitra. Joining us again for the second time in a row. Uh, okay, let's get into the fortnightly highlight then. Your team did a story on unclaimed bank deposits recently. Now, before we get into the findings, why don't you tell us why your team decided to look into such a data set and what this whole story is really about?
Okay, so first of all, unclaimed deposits are deposits in the bank which have not been operated
Hmm.
for the past 10 years, or like for over a decade. So, RBI recently released a campaign called 100 Days, 100 Pays,
Hmm.
through which they aim to, return all these deposits back to the respective owners or the claimants. So in this backdrop, we thought, okay, we look at the trends, like how much money is there in the bank and everything. Like we thought of looking at data about these unclaimed deposits.
Okay. And so, what were the main findings?
So yeah, so we took the data from RBI's database on Indian economy,
Mhm.
and in that the data is as of December every year, December end every year. So according to that data, as of December 2021, there was more than 31,000 crore rupees as unclaimed deposits in the banks. And as compared to 2011, the number has actually increased by 11 times.
Okay.
And again, this amount is in about 9.9 crore accounts.
Hmm.
And again, compared to 2011, the number of accounts has increased by 8%.
Hmm.
So yeah, and we also saw that, we focus on the public sector banks. So we found that more than 80% of this unclaimed deposit is in the public sector banks. And again, State Bank of India, which is the largest commercial bank in the country. So SBI alone had about 23% of these unclaimed deposits, which is the highest for any public sector
Hmm.
bank. And this was followed by Punjab National Bank.
Okay.
So yeah, and again, we also saw that between December 2021 and February 2023,
Hmm.
there was a sudden spike in the number in the unclaimed deposits.
Hmm.
Like the amount had increased by 35% and the number of accounts had increased by 25% in this period. And yeah, also, like, we looked into the type of accounts in which this the unclaimed
Hmm.
deposits were from. So again, savings bank accounts accounted for, like, more than 70% of the deposits, and also like the other accounts, like fixed deposits and current accounts, like they saw a decline in the share
Okay.
in the last few years. Yeah. So these were some of the trends we saw.
Okay, that's very interesting. And should you want to read the story in greater detail, we will be leaving the link to the story in the description after this live is done. And now that we have some time, I think one very interesting story that your team did over this past fortnight was about the food safety index scores that are assigned by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, commonly known as FSSAI. So, I think this is something that will be interesting to everyone watching. What are the best and worst performing states in India vis-a-vis food safety?
Okay, first I'll talk about like what the index is about.
Yeah.
So FSSI, like, every year it releases this state food safety index around the the first week of June. Marking the World Food Safety Day.
Hmm.
It's on June 7th, and so this is the fifth annual report that was released this year for 2022-23. And yeah, so it based on, like, five main categories of parameters, like scores are assigned to each state based on their performance, and the total score is 100.
Hmm.
And like these five parameters are like, it's like compliance,
Mm.
consumer empowerment,
Mm.
again food testing infrastructure, then capacity building and training,
Mm.
and yeah, and again compliance to all the rules and everything. Yeah. So based on this, like there are various parameters in these categories for which like marks are assigned, and the total is 100. So for 2022-23, Kerala, Punjab, and Tamil Nadu had the highest scores among the
Mm-hmm.
larger states. So
Right.
they've categorized into larger states, smaller states, and union territories.
Mm.
So we have like in detail explained like the process, like the about this safety index. I mean the methodology and stuff in our stories. So yeah, so and among the smaller states, we saw that Manipur, Sikkim, and Goa had higher scores. So yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and then also saw that like these scores for almost all the states has actually declined in 2022-23 as compared to the previous report, and only exceptions are like Kerala, Punjab, and Arunachal Pradesh. Like in all the other states and union territories, the scores have dropped. So, and also we saw that like in Bihar, like in the last 5 years for which the data is available, the score has dropped by like 40 points. Like imagine the total is 100. And for Andhra Pradesh, the score has dropped by 33 points.
Oh.
So like that, Chhattisgarh, Assam, and Haryana also have seen like a significant decline in their scores
Okay.
over the years. Yeah, so sadly, like food safety is something that should be ensured in this country,
Yes.
because considering like it's how crucial it is for the development,
Mm.
the health of the people. But yeah, so these declining scores, it's actually worrisome. So something has
Yeah.
to be done about it.
Yeah. I think also, you know, a lot of these platforms, Quora, Reddit, what have you, people always talk about, which place has the best street food, which place has the best food culture in general. I think these are things that you should also consider. These are things that should be in the public discourse. And of course, a great way for you to do that is to look at our website, look at factly.I, and look at these articles that the newsroom is writing and converting to wonderful social media content that you can consume on the go if you don't have as much time as it takes to read a whole article. So, yeah, with that, I think we're done with the newsroom update as well. The link to this story will also be put in the description when this live gets over. And I'm wondering if we have any questions from our viewers, which we do not. No matter, you can always leave them as comments on this video or any of our other videos after the live broadcast is done. And of course, you can also reach out to us through our social media handles, which, if I may reiterate, is at Factly India, which is also on your screens. And our next edition of the Factly Digest is on 20th July, which is 2 weeks from today. It'll be around the same time, 6 p.m. in India. So definitely join us then, and follow us across platforms. Subscribe to us here if you aren't already, and consider joining memberships, of course, and reach out to us through all these platforms that we are on. Thank you so much for joining. We look forward to your engagement with us.